Hi, it's David Mourad here for this month's edition of Stable News for our newsletter. It's 1st of July. The year's already gone very fast, half the year's gone. It's been a good year so far, and hopefully that run continues for the second half of the year. This month, pretty quiet week, pretty quiet month I should say, for us in terms of runners. Haven't had a lot of luck with the wet weather around. A few of our horses haven't quite handled the tracks, so I'll have a quick run through a few of them that have raced this month, and a couple of the trialers that have trialled and should be racing shortly. So Black Revolver, he is a horse that does not handle a wet track at all, so no luck this time of year, and he's been sent out for a spell. Hopefully he can skip this wet winter period, and we can see him return to racing probably around mid-September. Warmer weather starting to come back, and hopefully get some drier tracks for him. Rock Temple, a little bit in the same boat as Black Revolver. Doesn't really handle the wet. He's had a couple of runs this preparation with no luck. His last two have been on a few wet tracks, so he just doesn't really handle it. So he's actually been sent down to Melbourne in search of firmer surfaces, and if not firmer grass surfaces, he's going to make use of the synthetic tracks there down at Geelong and Pakenham. So he's been nominated for Pakenham this Sunday over 1200 metres. Hopefully draws a good gate, and that should see him in with a chance. He'll be, obviously the synthetics a good 3 surface, so which he'll handle, and if he can draw a good gate and get into a good spot, we should see him back to his best. So fingers crossed there. Lanero, he's had a good preparation so far, posted a couple of wins back to back. His last start was a decent effort at Rose Hill, up in grade. He led all the way, probably just went a bit too hard early on, and just raced a little bit keen, and just saw him wanting a little bit at the end there. So he wasn't beaten by far, and he's since been sent out for a quick freshen up. He's gone out to Limitless Lodge, where he'll have some time on the water walker, spell in the day yards, and just on the green paddock and green grass, and he's put on some weight from all reports, and he's looking good and feeling good. So we should see him back at Rose Hill over the next few weeks. Snitzel Blitz, very disappointing first up at Sale on the 24th of June. She trialled very well twice before that race, and she finished last. It was obviously very disappointing. She was expected to be in amongst the money end of things, but she just didn't fire a shot. She was a little bit lame the day after, 2 out of 5, so she's got a genuine excuse there. She's found to be a bit sore in the knees. Nothing sinister. She's been treated, and we expect her to bounce back. She's going to have a few weeks between runs, and next race is likely to be at Ballarat on the 16th of July. So we're expecting her to bounce back, and she's a lightly raced filly whose first 2 races were very good. So hopefully it's just a forget run, and we see her back to her best next start. Le Mans, he also had his first up run 23rd of June at Geelong over 1300 metres. He was also disappointing. Travelled okay, and just didn't really let go in the straight when he was asked. The jockey did report that he probably didn't handle the synthetic surface, so he's going to be hopefully racing next on the 8th of July at Bendigo over 1500 metres, getting up to a more suitable distance, back on a grass track, which I'm sure he'll appreciate, and we expect him to show up back on the turf track next start, fingers crossed. Blackjack Paperback, he's returned in great order this preparation for his new trainer Michael Costa. Michael's done a lot with him, and a few gear changes to help him with his breathing, and he's had 2 trials this preparation, and they've both been very good efforts. First was at Rose Hill, finished 3rd, wasn't far off them, and it was actually quite a good trial. You know, Michael wasn't expecting that first up off a break, and you know, it was nice. He stuck on really good to the line. Second trial at Warwick Farm last Monday, he finished 4th. Was just given a soft trial, easy time. He finished off nicely, hard held, and yeah, Michael's very happy with him. So he may have one more trial, or it might be off to the races for him over 1400 metres. So yet to be confirmed by Michael. Should know later this week for the owners in Blackjack Paperback, and yeah, it'd be good to see him back to the races, and you know, we expect him to show improvement as he's done in his trials. Madame Zabil, she's come back in bigger and stronger. John and Chris Ledger will now train her out of Wangaratta. She had a first up run last preparation, which was very disappointing, but as it turned out, she had a bit of a wind issue, so she's had a throat operation during her spell. She's come back, her breathing is fine, she's working good. She trialled this week over 850 metres, and she finished about midfield. It was a good first trial. Probably trialled sooner than expected, just due to the lack of options with trials up in northern Victoria. So yeah, she was only at the probably 7-8 week mark in her preparation, and you know, lacked some fitness, but she trialled well. She jumped good, sat in a midfield position and finished off in a midfield position. Yeah, she's going to have another 1 or 2 more trials this month before heading back to the races, where we expect her to show massive improvement. And you know, once she gets out to a suitable trip is where we'll see the best of her. So fingers crossed anyway. Black Denim, recently named Black Denim. She's a Denman filly out of Natural Swinger. Had her first jump out yesterday for Mick Price. There's a bit of a funny incident at the start of the trials, which there was a bit of a malfunction with the gates, which you don't get to see on the replay of the jump outs there. But apparently a couple of the horses weren't even loaded yet, and there were a few in there, and the gates opened, and only 3 kind of were ready and jumped out, and you know, the jockeys didn't know whether to go or not to go. So anyway, 3 of them jumped out, ended up where they were. Black Denim's gone straight to the front, and she's spaced them throughout the run and given an easy trial, and ended up winning by 3 or 4 lengths. No real time on the trial because it wasn't really meant to go that way, so it's a bit of a non-event, but she went well. The jockey reported that she felt nice, and she looks like she's a nice horse, so she's going to have another jump out next week on Tuesday, and see how she goes then. You know, it should be a normal jump out, a few more horses in the gates, and the gates work properly, so we'll get a better gauge of where she's at. But if she goes well, she could be off to the races for her first time ever. So going well, reports are good, and pretty happy with her so far. That's pretty much the runners and trialers this month. Like I said, it's been a bit of a quiet month, but you know, as the winter period draws to an end over the next few months and the spring starts to come back, we should see a few of our headline horses come back. Secret Agenda is one we're looking forward to. She's back in pre-training. Shouldn't be long before we see her in work, and see how we go. You know, got a couple of the young ones this year too that are coming through their grades. You know, going through their paces, I should say. Young Sebring filly with Gay Waterhouse just got back in work, so she showed promise last preparation. Fingers crossed she can continue with the job this time in. And if she's ready enough, we should hopefully see her at the early 2-year-old trials and races, fingers crossed. She'll get a chance, and hopefully she's forward enough for it, and we think she is, so we'll see how we go. Other than that, other news this month, and the reason why I've done it on a Wednesday, usually this is on a Friday, is that I'm actually getting married this Saturday to my beautiful fiancée Nicole, who helps in the office a couple of days a week. She puts the newsletters together with me now, and so yeah, it's an exciting day ahead on Saturday, and naturally I'll be away on a honeymoon, or will be away on a honeymoon for 3 weeks. So today's my last day at work. Got a couple of days to prepare for the wedding on Saturday, and we'll be off going to America and exploring America, a bit of Mexico there, Cancun, for our honeymoon. So looking forward to that. Obviously I'll be away, so you're probably wondering who's going to take over the updates. Carol and Linda, who's in the office now, they'll be looking after things while I'm gone, so don't worry about that. That'll all be sorted. They'll be in contact with me from time to time if there's any issues that I need to be made aware, or they need to ask me anything. So and I'll get back to them when I can. So that wraps up this month's stable news stable update for the newsletter, and I'll see you back here towards the end of July. So have a safe month, and I'll see you when I get back. Thanks. Bye.